All right, welcome everyone to this session. Today we would be showcasing the Vanguard predictive planning platform. Over here, let me just give you a brief background about us. I'm sure you are now by now aware of who we are. So we basically help companies improve planning process, and for that we have different solution services in education over here as different verticals. In terms of solution which we are going to talk about today, we are going to showcase the Vanguard solution, which is from a company called Vanguard Software Corporation, based out of US. We have we today would be discussing about the end-to-end integration business planning by Vanguard platform. So it helps cover all the various sections of our planning process, starting from demand planning to supply planning to MRP planning and then capacity and financial planning. So it's really interesting when we look at the integrated planning software, just to see how if I make a change in my demand plan, how it would translate to my financial projection. So that's honestly the beauty of an integrated planning solution, that any change that we do in any of the segments, maybe in sales plan, maybe in budget plan. So how would that translate to either my supply plan or my financial projection is really, really interesting to see and look forward in an integrated business planning software. In terms of the background about Vanguard, so we are their partners in India and APAC region. We represent them over here, and it's quite interesting, history of Vanguard. It was founded in 1995, and they have done lots and lots of R&D in the planning segment, and the kind of features and intuitive workflows that they have come up based on their R&D. It's really amazing, and that's what I'm going to also show you during the demonstration today. They have customers across the globe in about 68 countries, in about 3,400 customers that they have. Um, so that's the kind of diversity that we see. I'll kind of, yeah, yeah. So in terms of the Vanguard solution, it's a cloud native integrated business planning platform that enables breakaway performance. It's really decision centric, unified, probabilistic, collaborative planning. And you would also see in a minute that how it truly captures all these areas in terms of the various uh, the various sections that are there. So it has demand planning module, supply planning, inventory optimization, also supports SNOP and IPP platform. I'll just showcase the different clientele of Vanguard system, so we can see it's quite diverse over here. So as I was saying that this is a list of customers. It's of Vanguard. It's increasing as we are progressing over here. So this is about a big background of Anamind as well as Vanguard system. So let's now go to the Vanguard system and see how the platform looks like. This is the login screen of Vanguard predictive platform. Over here, it's a cloud-based solution. So I'm going to log in through an administrator account, which gives me the access to all the features of Vanguard system, and that's useful during the demonstration. However, say when I would log in as a user of the system, I Sheetal would get an access uh, in the system which is quite limited. I would only be able to look at the product lines which I handle directly. The other features which are relevant to me, only those features I would be able to look into the system rather than having the information of all. And that's how the restriction and user authentication has also played a big role during the login process. So when I log in over here, it takes me to the dashboard page, which is quite interesting. I have all these KPIs over here. These are not hard coded. These are for representation purpose, just to give you an idea at a high level that what are the various options that are available, what are the things that we can put in for which we track on a regular basis of our company. This is say the various KPIs. This is also a workflow link that I have placed over here, because I can now move directly to the various workflows that I'm responsible for, which helps me guide through the entire planning process. So that's really important. I also have lots of reports over here which we can configure for our process. So I can directly, the moment I log in, I look at the KPIs. I can either take an action. Okay, I want to understand how, from where my inventory is coming. So how what are the various products which are contributing to this much inventory? Is my inventory sufficient? So what are the items which have very high probability of stocking out? All the various details which are related to that KPI would be available to me in just one click. That's a really useful information. On top of it, I get this chat option where I can also say write messages to different members of my team, just to collaborate quite effectively. That let's review the inventory for APAC region, and I can just hit save, and it would automatically go to the David Williams, who is responsible to monitor this progress. Or we can just write it at we can put hashtags, we can put certain channel information. Any of the information which we find relevant for our process is what would be shown over here. So that's quite interesting feature that we have over here, that we get to look at the information which is useful for us. Okay, so I'll just close this tab because I want to show other features as well. So we also have, say for example, the classic dashboard. Over here we have certain speed dials, some bar charts, some line charts, or bar graph, etc. So we can now also configure any of the other reports or KPIs that we want to monitor, over here for our process. That's also available. Say if I go back over here, I can, from the workflow links that I have, I can quickly move, say, to my demand plan section from where my plan would start. But typically on this side of the screen that you see, we have, say, budget plan, we have sales plan, we have demand plan, we have my supply management, SNOP, and also my finance plan over here. So as a user, all these screens would be available to me. All the various modules or sections would be available to the user, provided you have the access given by the company to these sections over here. If I go to demand plan, you see that we have workflow, and it's really important for us to emphasize the use and need of workflow over here. Uh, there are usually set of processes that we follow on a regular basis, which helps us in completing a particular task or completing the entire planning of a particular segment. So in this case, demand plan, we have 5 different steps that I as a user would be following to complete the planning process. And in this case, I would first be reviewing, say, my last month's exception. Then I would also be reviewing my new products. I would then review my forecast, I would review my continuity report, and then A items. So all that is available to me on this workflow section over here. It helps in guiding the user to follow certain steps and processes which are set, and these are applicable, say, to all the users. This is quite an innovation which is done by Vanguard team, uh, and it's really, useful. It comes in handy because we can monitor our progress. We would know whether we are ahead of schedule or we are behind schedule, so we can configure the timelines as well. We can then monitor how much have we completed in each of the tasks that are available. So that's also really critical for us to do. uh, Apart from the workflows, helping in guiding the various steps, it also helps in onboarding a new person in the team, because these workflows are there, these steps are there, and the user can quickly follow this step, which helps in, very easy training while onboarding the new colleague. We can also look at all the reports over here on this part of the screen, which are really helpful for our planning processes, demand planning process. These are really important reports which we can configure. So right now I have say come to this section where I can look at all the different uh, product lines that we have in the company. So we have not just product line, or we can say it as different divisions. Say we have hardware as one of the product category. We have services, and then we have softwares. You can have, the name does not matter. You can have any of the divisions or any of the product information that you would want to have over here. Or you can also have geo information. So we, for example, we have the product categories, then we have the SKUs, and within the SKUs we have different regions in which the SKUs are getting sold. Uh, so how we have configured the system is that we have 4 different regions where we sell our product. We have APAC, EMEA, LATAM, and North America. So we have these 4 different regions where SKU 100 is getting sold, and these locations are getting replenished by my central warehouse over here. So we are then aggregating the requirement which is coming from the all these location and making the requirement for my then we are trying to determine how much do we require at my central distribution center to be able to manage the demand which is coming from different locations. So over here, I've selected the APAC, and as you can see on this part of the screen, the blue color line represents my historical sales data. It's the past sale of this particular product, followed by the future forecast. The black color line in my pink band is representing my forecast. So this is my forecast, which the system has automatically determined through the AI selection. We have lots and lots of different models which are available in this section, and the AI selection automatically picks up the best model basis the past data series over here. It's really important to note, which the numbers that we see on top over here, these are really important because they have been developed by the Vanguard team basis their R&D of about more than 20 years now. So this is another key options that you see. You would not find it in any of the solution. It's very unique to Vanguard itself. They have configured, they have refined these models over a period of time so that it fits my data best. And in this case, a seasonal log theta model, which is developed by the Vanguard team, has been selected because that's giving it the least error for over the past 12 periods. The model, once that gets selected, it also does lot of lot of configurations. There are a lot of innovations that are done by Vanguard team, and the pink band that you see over here is the forecast uncertainty. So it's really critical information that you see. Forecast uncertainty is determined through various simulation, Monte Carlo simulation, that helps us in determining the uncertainty or the variations in my data. Do I have too much variation in a particular time period, or do we have less variation in our data? So depending on the variation, the forecast, the pink band or the forecast uncertainty would vary. As you can see, in July we have a forecast of 4,320, but the forecast uncertainty is 1,160. If I say move to August, it's different. So my forecast uncertainty is also changing as we move forward in time. That's really important. And this forecast uncertainty is not just for the representation purpose, it is taken into account for the supply planning activities as well. So say for example, I have a forecast uncertainty of 1,280 in the month of January, and I see that my safety stock, which is determined by the system, is 883. And I see that there is certain variation in the month of January that I see, and I can choose that I want to exclude this data point for my forecasting purpose. And when I do that, the uncertainty for the month of January has now reduced. It has reduced from 1,230 to 1,100. And when I move to my safety stock is also reduced. Now it's since the uncertainty has reduced in the data series, it's telling that I need not keep a higher stock. I can manage through the less stock as well. So that's how critical and useful this information is to the planners, that it gives me an insight of how my supply planning should also happen. What are the various things that need to go into the supply planning portion are also taken care of by the system. That's a really key, and that's kind of an amazing feature of Vanguard that we have over here. Um, Followed by say once we have this starting value, we also need inputs from different teams, and that's what you can also see over here, that apart from my baseline figures, I can see my numbers from the sales team. The sales guys have given me the number of 4,446. The budget team or the finance team has given the number as 4,677 for the month of June. And I can now take an action. Do I want the sales guys number or my finance team numbers as my as part of my demand plan? I can choose if I want to use their number or not. I can simply write say sales over here, and my forecast would change from 4692 to the sales number, which is 4446 over here. So my forecast would change, or I can simply increase or decrease the forecast, say by certain percentage. I can increase it by 10% for all the forward periods by putting three dots at the end of 10%. So over here my forecast is automatically shot up by 10%. Or I can make it 15% from here onwards. That is also possible. So there are a whole lot of options which are available in Vanguard, which helps us in overriding the values automatically. We can also see in this case is our MTD sale, and this is a topic that we would be covering quite in detail in next week, where we would be discussing how we can use demand sensing as one of the key parameter for our planning. In this case, what we have done, we have tried to bring in my MTD sale for the current month, and we see that we have already uh, sold 7,500 units for the month of June, and definitely we are going to do much more than this. So we can now take an action that if on 18th of June I have completed, or 19th of June I have completed 7,500, so rest 10 days I would be able to complete, say in 1 month I would be able to complete 10,000, for example. I can take that decision and change the forecast the way I want. that's really important, that we are able to also make override basis the different information that we have. Once we have say frozen the forecast, we can move to the supply planning, but there are certain other options that I would also want to touch upon during the demand planning section, and that is the use of regression as one of the parameter for for determining the forecast. Say for example, I have a particular external factor which has huge impact on my sale, and I want to have that. In this case, for the time being, I'm going to use say GDP as one of the parameter which is impacting sale. And when I do that, automatically there is a a row which gets added which determines whether the external parameter has a positive relationship or negative relationship. Do I need to reduce the forecast? That is automatically done by the system. Just by click of mere buttons, we can assign the external parameters and make changes to the data. In certain cases, certain instances, what happens that there is a phase out and phase out kind of situation where throughout the year we are adding new products, or we are revising the existing products. In those cases, there might be a chance of cannibalization, or there might be a chance of complete phase in phase out of the products as well. In such cases, we can use the supersession techniques. We can tell the system that I'm going to use SK103. This is a new product that I'm possibly launching, and I'm going to introduce that product once my existing inventory gets exhausted. I can say either tell the system that completely transfer my all my demand to the new product, or we can say the new product is going to cannibalize 70%, 30% of my sale. But let me do 100% for now. And when I do that, automatically my forecast, say from the month of December onwards, would become zero. So my forecast has become zero for after the inventory is exhausted. And when I save it, I can also go to the SQ103 where we have uh, added the supersession, and you can see from the month of November onwards, the forecast has increased. So that's how we can also plan the supersessions or my cannibalization or my phase in phase out of a different products in my data. That's really very useful information, because we are now not calculating that if this much is in this much inventory that I have, how much focus do I need to shift to new product. That system is doing automatically in the back end basis my consumption or basis my sales and basis the amount of inventory that I'm carrying. The other important feature that I wanted to show you was say doing planning for different promotions that we are doing. Say in this case we have an advertisement that we have planned in this region. So we are starting this advertisement on 1st of May. We are going to do this promotion till the month of October, and from then on we would just leave the thing as it is. So we can define the period value, we can define the decay in my once my period reaches, once my promotion reaches a peak, what would be the decay, would there be a cannibalization or not because of my of promotion. When I do that, it tells me how much additional sales that I would be able to do because of this promotion or because of this advertisement. So it tells me that till October I have a positive positive sales, but then on, because I've done so much advertisement, people possibly might, or our customers might have possibly taken up the products during the promotion time, during the advertisement time, and that's the reason we are also going to see reduction in demand from November onwards. So all that configuration is taken into consideration by the system while doing the planning. So that's really critical information that I have. Furthermore, as once we have the forecast frozen, there are a whole lot of options, but keeping in mind the time, I'll move to the inventory planning section over here. We have the on-hand amount. So how much on hand am I carrying for this particular product in this location? In this case, it's 1,558, which I'm carrying. I can also see, have I ordered something already which is in transit, which is going to arrive in some time. In this case, it's 1,000 units that I've ordered, which is in transit. It's going to arrive, say, on 3rd of June, but since it was not updated, it's still showing 3rd of June. So that also gets taken care of in the system automatically. I can, change the date. I can tell instead of 13, maybe, no, so the ordering date was, I'm sorry, this was ordering date. The arrival date is 17, so it was just 2 days back. But say if I change the date to 5 over here, or maybe 10, automatically my arrival date changes basis the lead time. It also would then consider, do I need to make any changes to the projected orders in the future or not? So over here, it's showing me that there's a suggestion that even if I get 1,000 units, I need to further order 13,158 on say 16th of June, because this data was updated as of 16th. So I have to immediately place the next order. And let's see how we have arrived at 13,158. What the system is trying to do, it's trying to gather the information basis these strategies. It's trying to determine which strategy we need to adopt. In this case, we have adopted a strategy which is economic order quantity, ROL, and there are a whole lot of other strategies in place as well. So we have weekly strategy, that are we going to order every Monday, or the replenishments are going to happen every Monday, or or what are the various other strategies? Do we want to maintain 99% of fill rate? Things like that. And when I go into the strategy details, I can look at what's my different parameters. I can look at my sales price, my cost, my inventory carrying cost, my lead time, my probability, my lead time deviation, my MOQ, SPQ, all that information is available to me. And say, for example, I make a change of, if I tell the system that, keep a 99 fill rate as well, 99% fill rate as well, you will notice the ordering value over here would change automatically. Now, if I want to maintain 99% of fill rate, this is the kind of ordering, optimized order schedule that I would have to maintain. So on 16th of June, I would be ordering 12,272 instead of 13,158. On July, I'll be ordering 11,000 units. It's basically taking into account how much safety stock that I need to maintain, basis the strategy, and basis my forward demand, and basis my forecast uncertainty. And then it's trying to determine, do I have a probability of stocking out? In this case, there's a high probability of stocking out. So over here, we can see that initially we have a stock of 1,500. And as time goes on, I would get certain, I would definitely not be able to have enough stock to suffice my need, but I would get 1,000 units of further order. The order that I would be placing, which is on 13th of, that I would be placing on 16th of June, that would arrive after 14 days. The green color arrow is my optimized order. When do I have to place the order? In this case, I have to place the order on 16th, and it will arrive after 14 days. And then once it arrives, I see it jump in my inventory, and as the time goes on, my inventory would start getting consumed as we move forward in time. So that's how my inventory consumption would be happening for all the various locations. It's determining how much, what is my optimized order schedule automatically. I mean, I do not really have to make any changes. System is doing that automatically in the backend for me. There are, whole lot of options which are available. Which is in case we have a production calendar set in place, we can manage that production calendar as well. Or say in a trading company or in different setup, if we follow certain holiday calendar, that maybe on Sundays we do not ship any product. I'm just making it up. Or maybe there are certain holidays that we need to take care of, or are, if we are say procuring our raw materials from from China or from any of the other locations, then we can also look at the production calendar. I would want to see the production calendar. In this case, I can also take into consideration that we are not, things are not very good between India and China at the moment, so we are going to not be able to get the products during these time periods. So I'm marking this particular time period as my holidays, where I would not be able to procure any product. And when I do that, automatically my order would be shifted as per the changes that I do based on the calendar that I set up on the system. So that's another important feature. I can similarly have safety stock parameters. Do we want the system to automatically calculate the safety stock, or do we want to maintain a safety stock of say 30 days? We can maintain that, and when I make that change, automatically my safety stock is changing over here. My quantity that I'm going to order would also change. So depends on how much cover you want to have. The safety stock can change. The order quantity overrides. So do we have certain amount that we need to order minimum, so or what should be the order quantity override that we want to maintain, or what the maximum inventory that we can order. If we have those configurations or those requirements in place, then that can also be configured effectively in your. So once say I have my optimized schedule, I would want to then look at my look at the sourcing sheet over here. This is really great information that I have, that I can look at the options from where I can also procure the product. So I have, in this case, uh, I'm going to get the product from my central distribution center. The split is 100%, which indicates that I would be getting the product, 100% of the product from central distribution center. But in this case, I have a very high probability of stock out. So I might want to also look at some other options that are available to me. In this case, central distribution center is going to supply me the products in 14 days with the lead time deviation of 3. But there are other suppliers, which in this case, I have another supplier, which is Acme here, where I can get the product within 3 days. And the cost of procuring the product is only 3.98 compared to, I mean, the difference is not very high. So I can take a call whether I want to get the product maybe from another supplier, or do I want to shuffle the product from another location which is there. Maybe I want to shuffle the product, in this case, from EMEA. The cost of movement is also low, the lead time is also low, and I know that there is an excess of about 11,000 units. So I can top it up, and automatically system is going to suggest me that this is the amount that I'm going to order. Maybe I can change the amount in case I feel that I want to procure more product. Maybe I want to procure 3,000 instead of 2,000. When I apply it, my probability, which was earlier 99%, has gone down. It's now 98%. or I can choose to get the product from air instead. So I can get the product from air as well, and that would make a change. I can tell that in this case or in the coming months as well, I'm going to get 100% of my products say from air, and I'm going to get 0% from my central distribution center. So we can also configure the split, or we can say 70% from my central distribution center and 30% from Acme Air to cover at least during this time. That's how we can make changes to the plan over here. So once we have calculated or we have reviewed the amount that we would be getting from different locations, what we can do is we can go to the central distribution center and see on a daily basis. It breaks the plan on a daily basis. So on a daily basis, when I would be ordering or when there would be a requirement coming in from different locations, so I can see all the 4 locations and the forward plan for it as well. And when I translate it over here, I want to review my supply plan for the warehouse as well in or my central distribution center. In this case, I've selected a cover 30 strategy, which means I want to have a forward cover of 30 days. And the basis that how much do I need to maintain the order, what would be my optimized schedule, and from where I would be procuring the product. So all that would be automatically visible in this screen over here. So that's how interlinked it is, that one change that I make in my demand plan not only impacts the supply plan of that location, but it also goes up in the hierarchy and also impacts on my warehouse and other different sourcing supplier information that I have. So that was one of the key portion that I wanted to cover, at least from the demand and supply plan. Let's also see what other options that are available. Maybe I want to look at I have different BOM that are there. Also want to plan for the BOM basis the finished good demand. So in this case, I have this finished good, which is a 32 GB flash drive, and the forecast is over here. I have all the projections of it as well. I have my supply planning information. I also have the MRP details over here. So I have configured the BOM. In this case, I have a particular item. Okay. Let me just return. Yeah. So I have this particular product, which is TN61216. The quantity required of this particular product is 2. This raw material is required 1. I have a expiry date that certain products or certain raw materials I'm going to use only for certain time. After that, I'm going to shift maybe to another supplier, so the codes are changing, or maybe to another item which would be replacing the existing. So all that configuration is also available. The lead time to procure that product is also available. The rate at which it would be used is also available, that you can configure. And when I click over here, I can get to see that for this particular BOM or this particular raw material, where exactly the requirement is coming from. So I'm getting a requirement, say, from APAC region or EMEA, but in certain cases, it could happen that a particular raw material is being used in 4 to 5 different items, finished goods. So in those cases, all the demand would get aggregated up at this level, and I would then be able to see, okay, I can configure that, and then automatically the way we had planned the supply for our finished good, I can also get to plan my raw materials as well. So when do I have to place the order? I can also give this visibility to my suppliers that look, this particular raw material I'm going to order at this time. So please ensure that you have sufficient amount available for me during the future course. Um, That's really important because it not only brings more transparency, it also is giving me critical information which I can also pass to my vendors who can work upon it well in advance so that they provide me the product 100%. So that's a really important feature that we have over here. All right. So now let's see. I'll be covering the production plan in a bit, but I want to first focus on. I'll not be focusing on the different reports because usually the reports are more or less the same, but and we can also configure these reports. I would just be focusing on one report. This is the gap analysis report that I have over here. Say I want to compare my current forecast with my same period last year. So I want to see whether I've grown or degrown uh, during this time period from Jan to June. So Jan to June 2019 to 2019, I was at this level. But now we know COVID has impacted our sale. So we see that there is a reduction in sale. There's a decline by 4.3%. And which are the locations which are contributing to it by how much is I can see over here. I can select whether I want to view it by item or I can select whether I want to view it by ABC or I want to view it by family, etc. So I can make that change or view over here. That's really good information that is available to me. I can also look at the supply management over here. I would want to go to this particular piece. So this is usually what my this is the place where my PR would get generated. I would want to see say all the purchase requisitions. In this case, it's showing me that these are the various suppliers who are supplying to these locations that I manage. It also gives me the information that how much unit do I need to procure, what would be the cost, etc. I can then look at the particular supplier. In this case, Acme Ground is my supplier who is supplying to my central distribution center. In this case, I can see the 5 products which I'm going to procure from the supplier today. What's the stock out risk? What is my MOQ, SPQ? What is my ordering quantity? What is my unit cost? Are there any shipping costs that I need to take care of? Are there any taxes that I need to take care of? All that would be available. And it not only gives me this information, but it also gives me the information how much weight this entire order is going to be of. And what would be, say, my shipping container capacity. In this case, we have also configured the shipping container capacity. It's now telling me that I would be using one full container and 76% of the second container would be occupied. Uh, as a company or as a planner, I would want to optimize the space as much as possible. So I can round it up. I can round it up, and when I do that, my order quantity over here is increasing or reducing. I can then configure, I can also manually change that this product I'm going to procure say 15,000 rather than 5,000. So it's automatically showing it's going to be 1.5 of the container. I can further increase it and it's going to automatically adjust the value, adjust the amount that we are going to order from different different products. So that's a very useful information that we have of optimizing our shipping container capacity. Furthermore, when we have say done the purchase revision, we can approve them, and when I approve it, and when I go back, this is now you can see it's tick. I can then directly use this information for my purchase order execution. So that's critical information. I'm also going to show you one report. This is really interesting report because it on in one shot it gives me the information of what would be say my arrivals what would be my inventory on hand, what would be my this is inventory projections for all the forward period for different locations within which I can drill down and see for all the different products. I can look at days on hand, how many days on hand I would be carrying. I can also look at, are there going to be stock outs? So there would be certain stock out that might be happening during initial time periods. I can also look at my cash flow and other information. This is how in one shot I can take actions. I can take uh, an overall picture of different line items, different product categories or locations at high level, and also download these reports to Excel for further analysis. Say once we have these options filled in over here, I can also get to see this financial statement. This is really important because, as I said in the beginning, that Vanguard has done a lot of innovations, and Vanguard is a truly integrated planning platform where I can monitor the changes quite effectively. Say, for example, I want to check the values from, I want to check my P&L from 1st of January. So over here, I can see my P&L, my cash flow, or my balance sheet, and I can also do certain scenario analysis and check how my data is changing. Say, for example, this is the sales that I have in different locations. I can use this particular item. I can see, okay, yeah, how the sales data is coming. So I can also link and check the informations at different level. I can also do I can do certain analysis in terms of, I want to see if I make a change to my forecast of this particular item, which is one not 100 in APAC. If I want to make a change of this particular product, say in the month of October, I want to increase it to 4,500, my sale. And I say okay. And I also want to make a change of 15,000 for the month of June. And when I say okay, and I go back in the system, I can see one change that I have done in the month of in the month of June and October. How much would it translate to my sales? How much would it translate to my gross profit? How much would it translate to my EBITDA? What would it translate to my net income? So I get a overall picture that one change that I have done on my demand plan would have a direct implication on my net income by 9,646. That's the kind of power as a user we would have while taking and making use of this information during our planning process, that any change that we do is directly impacting our uh, EBITDA, or directly impacting our net income or my gross profit. This is really critical information because it has direct implication on my financial statement, which would also excite the finance team. They would also be more keen into looking at how the changes are happening in demand plan or supply plan, and how that would translate to the various projections over here, just by a click of button. They do not have to sit and create lots and lots of report to be able to manage and get this information out of the system. So that's a really a key feature that we wanted to cover in this session. There was one more piece, since we have some time, that I wanted to show you, apart from, say, my demand, supply, my purchase, and my finance is the production planning. So let me show you one instance of production plan demo. Over here, when I check my capacity, I want to run this report. So in this case, we have one plant where I have equipments and I have certain resources in terms of my labor, skilled labor. So we can have different sets of workers defined and different sets of machines defined in our plant. So I have two machines, and in these machines, if I go back, if I go here, I can see what are the various products that I would be processing in these machines in the month of Jan. So it gives me my production plan for each of the machine and also gives me the capacity. So I can look at, okay, I have a capacity of 800 and I'm going to be making 382 in the month of Jan. I have a production capacity of 800 in the month of March, and I have 931.97 units that I need to manufacture in the month of March, which is not possible. It is exceeding my capacity. So I go back and I look at this report. It shows me a red flag over here that in the month of March, I'm going to exceed the capacity by 16%. In June, I was only 48% of my, I was using only 48% of my capacity. In February, it was 91%. But in March, it is exceeding. It's exceeding for both the machine and also there might be certain constraints for my labor as well. But I get to see that labors are still fine. But in the month of April, I might have a labor capacity issue as well. So I possibly need to manufacture these products much in advance when I have the time, because in Jan I have clearly quite a my capacity is not getting utilized, so I have quite an amount of time available and also capacity available to produce these products. So I want to prepone the production of these products so we can configure such constraints in the system, and we can tell the system that optimize the orders to fit my constraint, that I do not exceed my capacity in those months. So when I click over here, just by a click of button, it gives me this information that my optimization is complete. And when I go back to my capacity, now I can see that in the month of March, I am no longer, over capacity. In fact, my capacity has gone down from 116 to 75%. But in February, it shows me that I might be using 100% of the capacity. So that is a very interesting and insightful feature which is available, that I'm preponing the order in a way that I can utilize the space that is or capacity which is available in the month of Jan and February, and I can do this optimization much in advance. I do not have to do it in the month of March. I do not have to sit in the month of March and realize that I might not be able to manage these orders. I get this information 3 months in advance. I'm optimizing it and I'm making changes to my January plan as well as my February plan so that I can be on time. I can meet the service levels that I have agreed with my customers, and fulfill their orders on time. And that's very critical. And when I go to this machine as well, you can see in the month of March, I can see it's only 603 units that I need to manufacture compared to the 900 amount that I was supposed to manufacture earlier. That has told me that which product I need to manufacture in which month and by how much unit. So it's not telling me at random that this is how much you are going to produce. So at total, but it's telling me at each and every item or for each and every product how much do I need to manufacture, how much would be required for each of those months to be able to meet the capacity which is required. Possibly, I can also further take the decision that maybe in the month of March, I can get my resources increased, or maybe I can subcontract it to another manufacturer who can suffice this need, or maybe I can tweak the constraint in a way that my labor capacity is also utilized appropriately. So that's the kind of decisions that this system, which is an integrated planning system, would help me make when I'm in the planning process. It's really useful information. It gives me the information of not only the changes that we can make and but it also gives me which are the items which I have made change in this case. So that's the key information. So you can see it's truly an integrated platform and quite comprehensive. On top of it, um, I can clear my history, clean my history. I can make changes to my history through overrides. I can also um, make make changes to the data, to the different supply data, my different my production plan, etc., and it gets utilized properly. This is how an integrated planning platform like Vanguard would help companies take decision at different points in time for different planning needs. So this is what we wanted to cover in this session. It's about time. We are on time. We are on track. So I'll take leave now. If you have any questions, then feel free to send it to us. We will be happy to answer your queries. Or if you want to schedule another demo, then that we can arrange for separately. We can also look at your requirements specifically, discuss that out, and try to see how we can collaborate together. And the another important update that I wanted to give you was of the webinars which we are keeping next week. So we have upcoming webinars for the month of for the next week on Thursday, Friday, same time, for a lot of interesting features like demand sensing. We would be covering the historical corrections and how we can configure that. So both on 25th and 26th of June is what we will be taking that into consideration. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for being with us. I'll take leave now. Have a good day. Bye-bye.